Lastly, I'd like to learn a little bit more about your relationship, Darren, with Irene Hirano Inouye. From what I understand, I know she used to serve on I believe chaired the board of trustees at the Ford Foundation, and I heard that the two of you worked together to help rescue Detroit from bankruptcy. It's a story we USJCers don't know much about. What did you do together, and what lessons did you take away from that you were able to apply in other crises?
Well, Fred, it is very hard for me to talk about Irene without becoming emotional. Irene was a rare treasure, a gifted intellect, empathy, compassion, humility, grace. She extended to everyone her generous spirit, a willingness to serve. She was indeed the ideal servant leader. And I had the great privilege of having her as my boss because she chaired the board during my first 2 years as president. And it was during that time that I forged a very special relationship with Irene, one that was characterized by a Sunday afternoon. We used to call it Sunday afternoon with Irene in my house because there wasn't a week that didn't pass when I did not reach out on Sunday afternoon to talk to her, to get her advice, her counsel. The Detroit bankruptcy was the first thing to land in my lap literally a month into my presidency. And fortunately for me, Irene was not only the chair of the board of the Ford Foundation, she had also chaired the Kresge Foundation board, which was the largest foundation in Detroit. So she understood the importance of resolving this bankruptcy as soon as possible. And when the bankruptcy judge asked me to chair the philanthropy committee to raise the $400 million needed to accelerate the end of the bankruptcy, Irene became my co-pilot. She was the person who helped the Ford trustees understand why we needed to make the landmark commitment of $125 million towards that $400 million ultimately raised. But she did it in such a special way. I'm from the South, and in the American South, we have this saying about women who are still magnolias, women who appear to be genteel, petite, and sometimes soft-spoken. Never underestimate those women. They are made of steel, and they are determined and never, ever give up. And Irene was a steel magnolia. We traveled the world together from Hawaii, where I spent a memorable week and a most memorable evening with Irene and the senator. Traveling around Honolulu with the two of them was like being amongst royalty there. And I had the most spectacular time with them. But we traveled to South Africa. The only place we planned to travel and never were able to travel was Naishima, which is this amazing island in Japan, this series of islands that are all about the arts. And of course, Irene and I love the arts. And she was just, she encouraged me when I suggested that we reimagine the Ford building when we were told that the building was no longer in compliance with the building code of New York City. And I said, why not only change the sprinklers, which is what the city was saying we needed to do, why not just reimagine the building? And she said, let's go for it. And then I said, and how would you feel about selling the Henry Ford art collection, which was a collection of all white European men, and acquiring a new collection that reflected more diversity. Irene said, go for it. That was the kind of leader she was. She encouraged boldness. She encouraged you to be comfortable, be courageous, to not just paint within the lines. And I always felt that Irene had my back. And there were times when she might disagree, or she might want to give me feedback that was difficult maybe to hear. But I always knew that she was by my side and would be with me. And she was. And in fact, we spoke just a few weeks before her untimely passing. And she remained cheerful, positive, optimistic. This is who she was.